this year's NFL draft is loaded with pass rushers and game wreckers at the edge position. It's Mitch of TheBottomLineView here to give you my top 10 edge defenders in this year's NFL draft. Before I do, Gronk, spike that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, comment your opinion below. Which edge defenders do you love? Which edge defenders do you hate in this year's 2019 draft? Let's get into my list. Starting at number 10, LJ Collier of TCU. Collier isn't really being discussed as one of the top guys at this position, but he is a beast. LJ is an all-around edge player. He's a big man for an edge defender at over 280 pounds. He could possibly kick inside in the NFL depending on the scheme. I think he should. He won't wow you with his speed really at all. He's kind of slow, but that's because he's so big and so powerful. He does have surprising side-to-side agility. He's a big-time effort guy. He's tough, he's rough, and he's rugged. He is very powerful in his pass rush. He is a bull rusher and consistently uses his hands very well. He's really strong against the run and one of the best in the class at setting the edge. He will immediately bring an attitude to the defense he gets drafted by. He plays with great intensity, which can lead him to sometimes even fighting a little bit too much with offensive linemen on the field instead of just getting rid of the block. Overall, I really like Collier. He's not a fantastic pass rusher, but he's very well-rounded, and he's a powerful edge player. At number 9, fan favorite Chase Winovich. Pure pass rushing wise, Winovich is top 5 in this class for me. His ball get off is top notch. He has the twitch, he has the quickness and savvy in his pass rush. Definitely more of a finesse guy than a power guy. Not the best bend in the world, but he definitely has the ability to do it, which makes me believe that he can work on it even more at the NFL level. His ferociousness is really evident on tape with his hands and how he push-pulls opposing tackles. Teams will fall in love with his passion for the game and out-of-this-world motor. You'll see on tape that he chases down players from behind, not only showcasing his speed in pursuit, but his effort level. Chase shows great awareness in sniffing out screens and misdirection runs. He's certainly a 3-4 outside linebacker. He's a stand-up rusher. Even though he played a lot with his hand in the dirt in college, I don't think he can do that in the NFL. The biggest concern for me is his size. He's a little bit small. He gets swallowed up in the run game, but I do believe in his overall talent as a pass rusher and in his effort and passion for the game. I think he has potential to be really good in the NFL. At number 8, Jalen Ferguson. Ferguson is extremely intriguing as a small school player. He needs a lot of work, but he has some great traits. He could be very good as a rotation pass rusher early on in his career and potentially with coaching become a good 3-down player. He uniquely uses his hands very well. He uses the momentum of opposing tackles against them. He plays with blockers in terms of their body weight, and he goes inside or outside depending on where the tackle is in their stance. He impressed me with his pure raw strength and speed to power. He has awesome punch right off the ball, and he can bully tackles with 1 or 2 hands. It doesn't really matter. He just is so strong, and he can push a tackle straight back into a quarterback. He stood up a bit in college, but I really see him with his hand in the dirt. At 6'5", 271, he has great size and is to me a prototypical defensive end. He had a ton of sacks and production over every season of his college career. The one question to me is motor. I think it's a little bit iffy. At number 7, Zach Allen of Boston College. Zach Allen is a football player's football player. He is one of the top 3 most complete edge defenders in this class. He has an insane motor. This guy played the most snaps in one game ever recorded by Pro Football Focus. He has a really high floor, But the question is, does he have more room to grow? Day one in the NFL, he could come in and play on all 3 downs. He sets the edge very well. He uses his length and his extension in his arms to just dummy tackles and get them the heck off of him. He could play end or he could play 3-tech. I think he's a little slow to play end, but he's quick for a defensive tackle, so I could see him playing there on 3rd down. Not great athleticism, not great side to side, but he's a workhorse, he has power, and he's great with his hands. Great awareness, size, and has a knack for batting down passes. All teams in the NFL could use a Zach Allen. At number 6, Clelin Ferrell of Clemson. You want to talk about ball get off? That's Clelin Ferrell. He has phenomenal ball get off, and that's how he consistently wins. He anticipates the snap better than anybody in this class for my money, and it's really hard for a tackle to get their hands on him. Why is he at 6? Well, he lacks bend. Almost all elite rushers have elite bend, so for him to not have that is concerning to me. He doesn't really have a counter move off of his speed rush because he's so good with his speed rush, but he needs to better convert that speed to power and end up finishing plays better. He impressed me on how he can actually drop into coverage and take on running backs out of the backfield. Clemson was really good, let's face it, they're really talented, so was it him or was it the D-line or was it the team? To me, his 2017 was better than his 2018. If he can prove that he's closer to 2017, he'll be a very solid player in the NFL. At number 5, Montez Sweat of Mississippi State. 6'6", 260, 4'4", I will repeat, 4'4". This man is a super freak. He is the fastest defensive lineman ever recorded at the combine. He is a very raw player, but he is a phenomenal athlete. Some people really have him higher on their list, and I see why, because again, he is a super freak, but I need to see a little bit more consistency. He's freakishly strong, he's very long, which is definitely going to translate to the NFL with his ability to disengage from blockers and attack the quarterback or stop the run. Once he gets his hands on you, you're finished. He can really be good, I think, with some coaching, because he doesn't really have a plan when he rushes. It's rather the bull rush, using his arms to get the guy off of him, or he's done. He does seem a little bit slow to fire up into his rush, and his bend is a little iffy. I think he's just a stiff athlete overall. I think he can be really, really good. I think this guy has Jadeveon Clowney potential. At number 4, Brian Burns of FSU. I love me some Brian Burns. He's a natural athlete, and he was made to rush the passer. I'm a big bend guy, and he can bend with the best of them. He has the length, he has burst, he has twitch. Plus, let's face it, this guy has an incredible pass rushing name, Brian Burns. He does have more than one move, which I really like. He has this go-to where it's a little jab move and then he'll go inside or outside. He can also hit you with a Dwight Freeney spin move as well. But I think he could learn how to tie those moves together when one gets defeated. He's still kind of raw, especially in terms of his run defense. He just needs to gain a little bit more awareness and reps against the run and a coach to teach him how to play. He can get stuck on blockers a little bit, and this is probably due to the fact that he is light for his position. He needs to definitely gain some size. I think he may be getting a little bit overshadowed. I think Burns is higher for me than a lot of other people. He's very similar to Josh Allen, but Burns might be my guy at this position. At number 3, Rashawn Gary of Michigan. The question to me is Gary actually an edge defender or is he an inside guy? I say he can do both. His most effective pass rushing spot is probably in the interior. He uses his bull rush against guards really well, and he had a ton of success doing that at Michigan. Think Trey Flowers, think Michael Bennett. The public certainly doesn't love him, and that's probably because they don't see the production. But if you watch on tape, he has an impact on games that exceeds stats, and that's why the NFL will love him. He's a big boy who can move. He's 280 pounds with the explosion of a player who's 250. His strength makes him elite versus the run, but his agility is just as crazy. He can track down runners from sideline to sideline. That's very rare for a guy of his size. College teams just decided altogether to run away from him. Just look at the Ohio State film. He has a ton of potential, and I think it hasn't even been tapped yet, which makes me believe that he can be awesome in the NFL. At number 2, Josh Allen of Kentucky. Josh Allen is the best outside linebacker in this draft. He is a Von Miller type of outside linebacker. As a rusher, he's explosive. He gets off the ball very well. He shows you multiple different moves. He has speed. He has pretty good bend, and setting that speed up with head fakes, pitter-patter feet, he knows how to do it. A knack for making really guys hold him all the time. He's surprisingly really good in coverage. I think that's the thing that shocked me. He's athletic enough to read the quarterback and play zone and read the eyes of the quarterback in his drops. He played more coverage than I even expected. I think he could work on a couple of different areas. He could work on his hand usage and being more physical in general. He probably needs to add a bit of size to help his run defense and help his power as a pass rusher. I think coaching will help him develop that power, help him develop that counter move, because he was just so good in college at beating a defender with ball get off and speed and explosion that he didn't really need that extra move. Allen is well-rounded, but not really as a run defender and a pass rusher, but as a rusher and a coverage guy, which is very different and very unique for a player of his position. You don't see that very often, so I think that Josh Allen is pretty special. At number 1, Nick Bosa of The Ohio State University. Duh, Nick Bosa is number 1. I think the grandma of the Bosas could probably rush the passer at this point. It's getting kind of ridiculous. Nick Bosa is really, really good, and there's no reason to not believe he'll not be just like his brother in the pros, because they're very, very similar prospects. Sells it transitioning from speed to power in his rush, which is something that his brother does very well and better than just about anyone in the NFL. His bull rush in college right now for Nick is not even fair for most tackles. Have you seen this guy's lower half? Have you seen his hamstrings? Holy. He uses leverage very well to turn the corner. He can straight up push a tackle back into a quarterback. He has the best technique of any rusher. He does kind of have short arms, only 26th percentile, which means he could probably struggle versus long arm tackles like Trent Brown in the NFL. But I think even if he disappears in certain games as a pass rusher, he's so complete in his game that I think he'll just cause disruption and cause offenses to get outside of their comfort zone. I wouldn't be shocked to see Nick Bosa as an elite edge defender very quickly into his NFL career. That is my top 10 edge defenders. What do you think of my list? Love it? Do you hate it? If you haven't already, subscribe to The Bottom Line View for more NFL. Also, hit that notification bell for the latest updates on the NFL. It's Mitch. Once again, we'll see you next video. Peace.